Good morning, y'all. It's Timidity. Happy Friday, 9:30 a.m. I guess was debating on if this was going to be a life update video or topic video, but for now, I'll just start talking and we'll see where it goes. I absolutely hate the type of people that are not holding themselves accountable. Like, they'll subconsciously do shit just to be evil as fuck. And they won't do any self reflection or anything. And they'll even get mad at other people for calling it out. I actually ended a friendship with a comedian in my area recently because I just kind of figured, okay, this dude is friends with too many, like, massive misogynistic assholes. He is a massive fucking creep. He's weird, he's rude. I'm gonna end things with him. And then, funny enough, shit hit the fan because, like, he did try to win back my friendship eventually, but he did it in the worst way possible, where he just came up to me like, "You're crazy. All of that was in your head. None of that ever happened. And if it did happen, you just misunderstood me. Like, and I probably was just joking anyway, but none of that ever happened anyway. So, yeah, you're crazy, but I apologize." And I was like, "You can't do that. No, no." Another example is that guy Morgan I dated, piece of shit, but he was a piece of shit in a lot of ways. I had the "I can change him" mindset, or "Hey, I'm worse than him" mindset. What can you say? You date weird people when you feel weird. And he was not the good kind of weird. Some ways, yes, other ways, no. He was the type of dude where he would not hold himself accountable in any fucking capacity. He would just be, or if he did, he would just like mope about it, but then not actually resolve any mistakes or like put in the groundwork to become a better person. He was the type of guy to be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe my ex Cleo left me because I cheated on her." And I would be like, well, you did cheat on her like a bunch of times, like between like when you hit the 6 month mark with her versus when you hit the 2 month mark and her mom was dying. You were still pressuring her for sex and trying to cheat on her. You're kind of a terrible person. And he just would not do any self reflection. Or he would just be like, eh. Like, sometimes he'd seem like he was remorseful, but other times he'd be like, "She's a fucking bitch. Why couldn't have she just forgiven me like before?" And I said, "She forgave you in the past before?" And then he was like, "Yeah." Then she broke up with me like a week again later. But then later on, he didn't tell me the full context of the story. This is how I found out he was sexually coercing her too, like he did with me. He basically, I remember he talked about how her mother wasn't even fully cold in the ground yet, and he basically was trying to pressure her to have sex with him. Just like, come on, we haven't fucked in ages, we haven't fucked in ages. Which is evil, because mind you, at the time, he had a side chick. He had a side chick. So to go out of your way to be like, "I'm not gonna bother my side chick. I'm gonna pressure this girl who I love into having sex with me after her mom just died." And also, for some extra lore, her mom died. Her cancer accelerated after she learned that her daughter was getting cheated on and was so stressed out. Morgan says that he's not sure if the stress he caused in the family accelerated the fucking rate of her death. Fuck if I know. I don't know science like that either. But all we know is the mother quickly deteriorated in health and passed away. And he still had the nerve to ask her grieving fucking daughter to have sex with him and was trying to just pressure. She did very good because she just straight up looked at the ceiling and said, "I'm breaking up with you." And then he begged and whined and moped, and she was like, "Yeah, no, get out." And she hasn't really talked to him since. Like, aside from a few messages here or there saying, "Hey, listen, I love you and care about you. I'm just not dealing with you anymore." And then blocking his ass on everything. He's a pathetic little weasel. Also, this dude I dated recently, I broke up with him for a lot of fucking reasons. This is the guy I dated after Morgan, Jared. Jared, in a nutshell, how do I even explain Jared? I'll explain him as this. Sadly, he was one of the dudes. I should render this as a red flag by now, but if you're a dude who feels the need to tell someone who's fresh out of a relationship or nervous or anything like, hey, no, don't focus on that. That's just paranoia. Listen, I'm really cool and I'm really nice and you should give me a chance and I'm great and I'm going to show you I'm great regardless of everything you feel. Like, you're like, some people would say that's a green flag. Isn't that a guy who's motivated to be his best potential fit for you? That's what I thought before, but no, apparently actually believing people when they tell you that they like you and want to be healthy for you is a bad move. So, You can imagine I was like, this guy's a pretty good guy, but then my intuition would be like, what about that when he tried to do that thing with you in the car? And I was like, oh yeah, that wasn't very good. He hasn't done that since. And then my intuition would be like, hey, what about that time? Like, what about that other time where he did this and did that? And it's like, oh, I'm noticing a trend here, but I don't know. He's really sweet. He wants to take me on dates. We get along great. It seems perfect. Like, I don't know. I don't think I'm conjuring up trouble. And then my intuition would be like, he's literally conjuring up trouble, bitch. Leave him. And then I remember even when I remember the catalyst was I had a sleepover at his house, and at most we cuddled or whatever, but he didn't try to pressure me to have sex, even though he was tempted. And I woke up the next day feeling pretty happy about that, because I do not like men doing that. And guess what he did the very next morning? He tried to aggressively yank my tits out of my shirt, and he did it so hard that some of the stitching actually almost snapped. And that was extremely upsetting and violating and fucked up. But I remember specifically that he was a lot more angry at me talking about it than angry at himself for doing it. And let's just say anytime, and I know you're gonna think I'm a fool. I have autism and a lot of issues. And whatever, I was unemployed and he was giving me groceries and other things. I was gonna take it. Whatever. I believed him when he said that it was a one-off thing that would not repeat. Let's just say it repeated many times, and recently I just kind of went, yeah, you know what, if he's the biggest inspiration for my script about sexual assault and sexual coercion and abusive gaslighting behaviors, maybe he's not the guy I should be with. And aside from that, he did it one more time that fucking last time I was at his house. It's like, wow, I had sex with you 8 times the day before. Amazing consensual sex. And then the next day when I'm tired as fuck and my eyes are glazed over and I'm making it absolutely clear that I'm not in any mood to have sex with you, you're gonna sit there and nonstop beg, 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 touch, 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 feel, 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 insist on licking me, insist on suck. Like, you can't complain that I stop. Because, how do I put this? Another reason I don't like when men do that behavior, it doesn't make me more wet. It just makes me go, okay, sex is a chore that I have to do. And then I roll my eyes, and then we get it done, and then I just think to myself, that sucked, and my pussy hurts. And I'm not going to be able to trust them, and my vagina is not going to open up and get wet as easily. And it also was a big reason to why I stopped telling men they were bad at sex recently. I've been known my whole life to do that, and it's the reason why I've usually had good sex. But if I'm with someone who's predatory and doesn't take no for an answer, then it's like, oh, I'm not gonna feel. If my voice doesn't matter, then my voice doesn't matter. I'll just let him stick it in as I zone out and think about like gemstones or cool cats that breeds that I like. And that's not a healthy thing whatsoever. And last time I was at his house, we also bickered a lot more. There was one incident that was kind of physical that I don't know if I would call it physical abuse or not. Let's just say slapping happened from him. And I'm not. That's also how it starts. If someone starts slapping you without your consent, like outside of the bedroom, and frames it as a joke, that's not a good sign. And I hate that he even put himself in the position for me to be saying this about him. And I don't know, funny enough, like I said, he always got mad at me for talking about it online because then people would know what he did. But it's not like he would learn his fucking lesson. It's kind of like what would happen with, like, I have sadly slapped men, usually after they did things. And for example, Morgan, when he tried to sexually assault me and coerce me and do fucked up shit to me last winter, I remember I blacked out and, like, I remember I woke up and came to with his skin under my fucking nails. And like he had 2 holes in his wall from shit I threw at him. Scratches all over his back. His face was bright red. He had little bruises on his nose and shit. I don't really feel bad about that. If anything, I like that memory. Because, yeah, you should have just let. Because he was physically restraining me from leaving his house. And it hurt. So, yeah, it's like you were just trying to rape me, bro. And it didn't work in your favor. But guess what? He always would complain after that because sadly he would still want to talk to me for a lot of reasons. I'll discuss that in another video. He'd be like, oh, well, you hit me. You hit me. I can't believe you did it. He has the accountability skills of a 2-year-old. And I would have to say, yes, I hit you because you weren't allowing me to leave your house. And you were trying to forcefully pin me onto your bed and nonstop demand sex from me over and over and over while not giving me. You were literally doing. What's the word when it's like forced imprisonment? Yeah. Not fun. You're a cunt, an evil, and a bastard. And same for Jared or Morgan or anyone else. They usually would not feel bad about doing it. They would just feel bad that now people would know about it and that it's associated with their character. Some of them have even been like, "Oh, Tamia, what would you do if you were with someone who constantly like brought up all your flaws?" I said, I mean, it depends on what the flaw is. If the flaws are like, "Ooh, I met this girl, she's kind of weird with in this way or that way, but I still like seeing her," I would have the self-respect to not be around her. But if it like to be around that person. But if it was something big like, "Hey, look, Tamia did something awful to me and I'm recovering from it." Like, it wouldn't feel good, but I'd also have to recognize, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that, and then either leave that person because I'm no good, or do the groundwork and effort so that I don't fuck up their life again. It's real simple. They did not like hearing that as a response because their gotcha was not gotcha and in the way that they really hoped it was. They couldn't have the little, "ha, gotcha." Wouldn't you feel bad in that scenario? I just say I would not put myself in that scenario because I treat my partners with respect. I accept no as an answer in bed. I treat them well. I communicate. And I don't gaslight them on experiences that are absolutely true. So, yeah. Anyway, I broke up with the recent guy I was with. He's pissed as fuck about it. But that's really not my issue anymore. I'm just over it. And the bright side, life is still good. I still have plenty of allies and plenty of people who care about me and cherish me and appreciate me. Life is great. Life is grand. Peace out. Anything else I want to say? I think I'm good. Bye.